Hey guys, it's been a while. You know me, Joshua Kozak. You know who you are. And as you can see, a lot of things have changed since the last time I've talked to you guys. You know, new house, new hair, new beard. Um, Officially 23 years old, and I'm not looking any younger. Um, anyway, today I kind of wanted to talk about one of the projects that I was working on a couple of years back. I forgot to say this beforehand, but specifically the Spider-Man Master of Disguises fan film. Yeah, that's officially been canceled, fortunately, for anyone who's been anticipating that one. And I'll give a quick reason as to why it is because over the years I kind of, because of the limitations that I was facing with at the time, I kind of figured maybe I can do like a silent film sort of thing. Um, I mean I've explained why all of this beforehand. Um, but even so, I think as I was working on it, I've sort of realized not only have I been missing all like the deadlines that I've been constantly making, but not only that, um, it's just I sort of realized that when you're doing a Spider-Man fan film, you can't really do it without actually, you know, um, giving Spider-Man his dialogue and all that stuff, because he's sort of most well known for his quips and like his humor and all that stuff. And it's kind of hard to convey with just no dialogue or anything. I mean, I've been trying to do so with like the his body language and all that stuff within all the drawings, and obviously, as you can tell, I've been trying to do it more of like in a storyboard animatic sort of style, because storyboards and comic books are sort of the same thing, like they're sort of arranged similarly. Um, but even so, I think when, if you notice, there's a lot of inconsistencies within like all the drawings and all that stuff, and it's very crudely edited and all that. And because of that, I've been sort of veering more towards like actual animation, specifically traditional hand drawn animation, which I'm going to be doing not only for the future stuff that I'm doing with like other fan films, if I ever decide to do them, but I'm still facing a lot of limitations with voice actors and not being able to pay anyone or anything like that. Um, but I am going to be using those limitations to my advantage for the more original stuff for my future filmmaking business that I'm calling Down Underdog Studios. And I'm currently developing a loose cinematic universe, which I'm calling the Dinoverse, which are basically a bunch of animated features based primarily on dinosaurs. And I've got about 10 concepts at the moment, and I am still, developing them further and all that stuff, and I will be, getting into them very, very soon. It's going to take a while, obviously, because, as most of you know, hand-drawn animation is very time-consuming. It's just like stop motion or like pretty much any animation in general. But it's kind of contradictory, in my opinion, because, the way I see it, it's like, with CG animation, you can, you have to not only design the character or the creature and all that stuff, but like you also have to like build them on the computer and then animate them, and then wait hours for the whole thing to like render and all that. And then the same thing with stop motion, like you gotta build it and then you gotta animate it and then all this stuff. Whereas hand-drawn animation, you can simply draw it, take a picture, and it's kind of already done. I know, like, it's still very time consuming, but at the same time, it's sort of, in my opinion, it's more faster than any of the other animation methods, at least in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting off track here. So yeah, unfortunately, certain projects that I've been working on in the past, like the Master of Disguises fan film, they've been sort of canceled for like all the new stuff that I'm doing, like the Dinoverse and all that. But I am still thinking of doing a few other Spider-Man related projects. Although I might have to, I'll probably be the only one who has to voice act and all that stuff, because now I've actually been sort of finding some new ways to actually do all this stuff more properly to make it look like an actual authentic animated feature. Yeah, and also quickly, regarding the whole Dynaverse thing that I'm doing, I'm also hoping that at some point I get to do my own DIY premieres and even sell the films on DVD alongside digital and physical production artwork of said films. Even though like it's a dying media and all that stuff, especially hand drawn animation and all that. But it's pretty much my personal goal is trying to revive all those traditional filmmaking methods, especially hand drawn animation and DVDs and all that stuff. All of which will be done on a literal $0 budget. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be tricky, but I am going to try my best like I do every day. So yeah, wish me luck. Anyway, aside from that, I thought I'd share, with the Master of Disguises film what I've worked on so far. So yeah, I mean it's only like a few minutes, so I'll try to make this as quick as possible. So yeah, anyway, I'm sorry about the cancellation, and I hope you forgive me. And hopefully you'll still be sticking around for all the future stuff that I'm going to be doing at some point. And there may not be that many updates because I want to keep it all as secret as possible, just like how the movies used to do back in the old days before all like the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah. Also, quickly, I want to say that like all this like stuff like making like high quality films with zero budget and at home and all that stuff, I'm sort of considering calling it Homiewood. It's basically because like you got Hollywood in America, and then you got Bollywood in India, and like all these other independent studios and all that stuff, all of which obviously are costly and all that stuff. But in this case, because you're making your own high quality movies right at home, no money or whatever, I'm calling it Homiewood, and I'm hoping that actually becomes a real part of the industry. But yeah, anyway, so thank you guys for tuning in. And again, I'm sorry about the cancellation, but to make it up for it, I will, share, the movie like in its unfinished form, basically like a work print of it. And yeah, here it is.